I ain't never missed my cue.
What's up, guys? Ryan Fiterman here with the legendary Hit King Pete Rose and my co-host Menial. Guys, how are y'all doing today?
Sophie's did. Wow. Man.
Nice. How are you today, Pete?
Mr. Federman, how are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. It's good
I
to
did
see
a
you.
show yesterday, and I talked about you. You must have been 9 feet tall. All the good things I said about you and Fetterman Sports.
I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like you said
That
earlier,
was more bullshit than I ever had. Come on.
like you said earlier, you took a flight in a day early for doing this. So
Yeah,
we're grateful.
This kind of stuff's fun, man. This is what's get people to get on your side of the table. Come to the shows that you have. You have great shows.
I appreciate that.
You know, I know because I'm at all of them.
Yes, sir. We're thankful for that for sure. Yeah, we have a good lineup this weekend.
Yeah. Jerry
Yourself,
West. I haven't seen
Jerry West, the NBA logo, Dr. J. We got Hakeem and Clyde coming. Your favorite Ric Flair, Sting, Sugar Ray Leonard. So we have a good lineup. We appreciate you joining us.
How do you get all these guys together like that?
Right check.
And you know the thing about your checks? They don't bounce. In this business, I've been to a lot of guys that bounce checks, like basketball.
Yes, sir. The check's clear, so it definitely helps the cause. Pete, so what's going on? What do you think about the Ohtani deal and somebody getting $700 million to play sports?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that anybody's worth $700 million. If he's not the best baseball player playing today, he's certainly one of the top 2 or 3. The other guy on his team, they say is the best. That'd be Mike Trout. What's he going to get now? If Ohtani got $700 million when Mike's contract's out,
then they sign another guy from Japan.
For $400 million. So that's $1 billion for 2 guys.
Yeah.
However, as Ohtani, he's only going to make $2 million a year for the first 10 years, and it's all going to be deferred.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, well, that way they stay within the gap that they can stay in to get other players. They're taking a chance on him because we don't know if he can pitch because he had arm surgery.
That's a good point.
And I think he's more valuable to the Anaheim Angels as a pitcher more so than he's a hitter because everybody can hit today. Everybody hits home runs today, but not everybody can pitch like he can. So it's going to be interesting to see if that Tommy John surgery is going to affect him. It affects everybody else that has it. So I wish him good luck because I like to watch him pitch. I like to watch him play. Not because he has long home runs, because a lot of guys hit long home runs. You know, Judge hits longer home runs than anybody. Everybody's going to go up in salary because of this guy getting $700 million. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Even the guys that can't hit are going to make $50 million, $60 million. So I don't know where these owners are getting all this money. I guess it's TV contracts. I guess it has to be because
I saw something the other day. The NFL's getting like $112 billion combined from all of the networks, I think, and their new TV contract. Like that's just revenue from television. That's unbelievable.
That's and all the money, and it should go to the players. I'm not ever against owners making money, but we as fans, we don't go to the ballpark to see the owners. We go to see the players.
Product.
And that's why the players should be taken care of. But I think they're getting a little overboard now because what's the next one going to be now? He got $700 million. What's the next one going to be?
Yeah.
$800 billion or $1 billion? Who's going to be the first $1 billion baseball player?
Almost there. Yeah. They're pretty close though. So you said everyone nowadays can hit. If you were playing today, Pete, what do you think you would hit?
I'd probably hit 200, 205.
That low?
I'm not saying it because I think pitching's that good. I'm saying it because I'm 81 goddamn. What are you laughing about?
I just turned 40, so I'm halfway there.
Man, Pete, you're selling yourself short here, but you meant if you were playing. I got it.
If I like playing today, I'd scratch out a couple of hits now and then.
Oh my goodness.
You're the only guy who couldn't hit today.
Why is that?
Because you only got one fucking eye. You ever seen a guy play baseball with one eye?
No, sir. No, sir. Yeah, so Pete, thanks again for coming to Houston.
Oh, yes.
So Pete, a few years ago, there was rumors that, like Altuve may be on track to break your record. I don't think your record will ever be broken for numerous reasons, but what's your thoughts on that?
It's because we're talking about the money players are making. Okay,
Yes, sir.
because of that, owners can't pay these guys to play 20 years. The guys making 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year, you can't pay them to play 20 years. If you play 20 years, you get 200 hits a year, you're still 256 shy of my record. So the longevity is there. They're not there for players. And there's not many guys get 200 hits today. Altuve was one. That was one of his goals every year. And I knew when he was, what's he got, 2,500 hits?
I think so. Around there.
So he's 1,700 behind me. That's almost half of what he's got. And he could hit. That little guy can hit, but he's starting to get hurt.
Injuries, yeah.
And, one thing I never did, even when I got older, I didn't get hurt. I didn't miss games. I went to the post. I missed 10 games in the 70s. That's 11 years. I missed 10 games. And 3 of them was because of the All-Star game when I hurt my knee running into the catcher, and I missed 3 games, 3 out of the 10 because of an All-Star game. But don't forget, when I went to Philadelphia for the 79 season, was the first multi-year contract I ever got. I had 16 straight one-year contracts with the Cincinnati Reds.
Did you do that on your own, or
No, they just wouldn't give multi-year contracts. No. Then I went to Philadelphia and got a 5-year.
Does that add extra pressure as a player?
Yeah, because
knowing that every single year is a contract year,
yeah,
and you have no cushion to kind of like take a break.
Well, the one thing you can do that you have to do is you have to make sure you play. You can't go on the disabled list if you're on a 1-year contract. Why? You're not going to get the stats. Because all negotiating a contract is stats.
Yeah.
Did you lead the league in hits? Did you get 100 runs? Did you get 100 RBIs? Did you win a Golden Glove? Then they say, did the team win? I think that's the most important thing, but it's really not in that order as far as making money. Okay, because the highest paid players in baseball today, Ohtani, Trout, guys like that, they never won a World Series. No. I don't think they've ever been to a World Series.
No.
Or the playoffs.
So, yeah, but I guess these owners know what they're doing. They're making a lot of money. I hope they're making a lot of money. I say that because I'm a baseball fan. When I'm home in Vegas, I watch 2 or 3 games every day. When I used to do a podcast and I had a comment on what was going on. And if you're going to comment on it, you got to know what's going on. So you got to watch it. Don't mislead me. I don't want to mislead you. I'm not going to sit home and turn on the damn Cincinnati Reds every day because they stink. Okay. I'm not going to waste my time with a team that don't seem to be getting better. And I don't know what the problem is over there. You can't, that small market bullshit is you got to go. Eventually it's got to go. There's a lot of small markets that play good. Big markets play good too because they got more people coming to the ballpark, more money to spend.
Yeah. Being on a 1-year contract for that many years, did you ever negotiate incentives for yourself, or did they give out incentives? Because I mean,
no,
17-time All-Star. Did you get a bonus for your All-Star? Did you get a bonus?
I knew what I had to do in order to even negotiate a new contract.
Did you always represent yourself?
Yeah.
So your whole career, you never had an agent.
The last couple of years, I did.
What was your mindset to go in there and say, I'm gonna do this myself, opposed to have representation?
Well, I probably got taken advantage of, because I can remember, Ryan, in the old days when you walk into this office like this, and you got the owner of the team sitting there, the general manager sitting here, the assistant general manager sitting here, and me sitting here. Now, what chance did I have?
Yeah, it's intimidating going in there.
I mean, they could throw me a bone and I'd have signed.
Yeah. But what made you want to not have representation? What was your, why, what's the reason for that?
No one ever approached me. Nobody had representation back in them days.
Huh.
And then all of a sudden I met this nice Jewish boy named Reuben Katz, who was my attorney in Cincinnati. And he got along with the Reds. And listen to this. When I signed with the Phillies for the 1980 season, right, my last year at Cincinnati was 79. And when I went to Philadelphia, my salary for 80 was $810,000 a year.
Why 810?
I'll tell you why. Because there was a basketball player named David Thompson who played for the Denver Nuggets, who made $800,000.
Okay.
And I told the owner of the team. I wanted to be the highest paid player in team sports. I don't know why he didn't give me 801. He gave me 810. He was bad at math.
The highest paid player in all of pro sports was 810,000. In what year?
It was 800,000. David Thompson.
And what year?
For the 79 season.
So 1979, the highest paid player.
810,000 a year. Now it's 700 million. You know, what am I going to get pissed off? My mom and dad. They had me at the wrong time. Why couldn't they have me 30 years later? I guess my mom was too old 30 minutes later, 30 years later to have sex.
So you made the All-Star team 17 times. You used that to your advantage in negotiating your contract.
That was one thing you needed, or getting 200 hits, or scoring 100 runs, you know, or winning a Gold Glove. Those are all things that you took in the office and negotiate with. But most of the offensive categories, you know, I hit 300 all the time. And if you're going to hit 300 the way I hit and the way I played, you were going to get 200 hits. I did it 10 times. I got 198 twice. I got 192 twice. Yeah, that's 14 years out of 20 right there. I got over 190 hits. If I was playing today, my goal would be 200 hits, because I know I'm on a good team with Bench and Morgan and Perez and those guys, that if I'm going to get 200 hits, I got a good chance of scoring 100 runs. And if I got a good chance of scoring 100 runs, we got a good chance of winning games. Because the reason you play for one reason. Okay, I sound like I'm playing for stats, which I really didn't, but I had stats on my mind because that's what I had to do in order to make more money. Okay, that's what I had to do. Nobody set goals of 200 hits and 100 runs scored. Okay, everybody sets a goal of 300 batting average, but 200 hits is hard to get. It's hard to get. I don't know if I could do it today. Well, probably not, but you're damn old. So I would try.
17 All-Stars, 5 different positions. Yeah. What was your favorite position?
Doggy fashion. Just kidding.
No, Pete, we didn't mean that. I was like, he's really thinking. I'm like,
you're not talking about sex. Oh, you know, of all the positions I played, Ryan, I really enjoyed first base. You know, I didn't do that at the end of my career. I did it all 5 years in Philadelphia, because first base is so involved. Every time the ball's hit, you got a chance to touch it. You're in the action. I guess another position is action as a catcher. I wasn't going to be a catcher, but I really enjoyed first base. I always had good guys throwing the ball to me, whether it was Concepcion or Larry Boa or Trio or Sandberg. I mean, I had all good guys. Mike Schmidt. They were good guys making good throws. And when you dig one out, you save them in air. So first base was, if I had everything to do all over again, I'd be a first baseman only. Outfield's easy. Left field's the easiest. Right field, you need your best arm. Center field, you need your best speed. Third base is, you either catch or you don't.
Yeah.
You know, you're only 90 feet from the hitter. Those guys can hit some pretty hard.
So if Pete Rose is in the MLB today, you only want to be first base.
I'd like to play first base. I wouldn't want to play second today, although I like the contact. I wouldn't want to play third today. You know, it's a honeymoon to play in the outfield. Or play in the outfield. Hey, then all you had to do is warm up. You know, infield, you're taking ground balls, you're throwing to a base and things like that. But first base is, I thought I really, really played good first base, too. I never hear anybody talk about my defense at first base, but I worked my ass off first base. And to be honest with you, I think I was a pretty darn good first baseman. You know, I dug out, I got involved in picking that thing out of the dirt, saving those guys' errors. You know, and shortstops and third basemen and second basemen appreciate a guy that can dig it out of the dirt and save them an error. And I worked on that. I practiced that hard. Maybe it's because I was so old and I went to a new position, I had to work hard. You just don't go there because they tell you to go play first base. You know, you don't want to embarrass yourself. You want to go over and try to play the best first base you could play.
What was it like being from Cincinnati and growing up there, cheering for the Reds, and then going on to play for the Reds You have this street name named after you. Your statue's in the front. Like, you're an icon in the city. You're an icon in the state of Ohio. What is it like to grow up there and play for your home team and be one of the best players the franchise has ever had?
Well, don't forget, Brian, that baseball started in 1869 with the Cincinnati Red Stockings. So we're the birthplace of baseball. And like you said, I grew up watching the Reds. I used to my dad worked at Fifth Third Bank downtown, and he got the bank tickets when the Dodgers came into town. Why? Because Don Zimmer was on the Dodgers. And Don Zimmer's dad and my dad were Little League teammates.
Oh, wow.
And we would always, in those days, the clubhouse for the visiting team was behind the stadium. Our clubhouse was different. And I used to go to the Dodger games because my dad would get tickets. And I go behind the stadium to wait for Don to come out of the dressing room and say hi to Don. And his dad was always there, which is Dud Zimmer. He was a big gambler. I mean, that son of a bitch bet on a duck one time and it drowned. It drowned. Okay, if you bet on a duck and drowned, you're a bad gambler, okay? And Don introduced me to Jackie Robinson, to Duke Snyder, the Charlie Neal, Joe Black, Don Newcomb, all the Dodger stars I got to meet when I was about 12, 13, 14 years old because of Don Zimmer. Meeting Jackie Robinson was unbelievable. He was the greatest. He was a nice guy. Duke Snyder, he was a hell of a player. Duke had the catbird seat in his career. I'll tell you why. Because everybody on the Dodgers was a right-hand hitter except Duke. And because of that, Duke got to see right-hander after right-hander after right-hander. He never saw left-hand pitchers. And he didn't pitch him against the Dodgers because they were all right-hand hitters. You're the only left-hander in the lineup. You're going to get some good pitches to hit.
Hey, you're in Houston. I know you've told me a funny story before about I think you were playing in Houston when
Old Colt Stadium. That place was so hot. But one thing they did have at Old Colt Stadium, the clubhouse guy, he was the best. He was like a gourmet cook. I mean, after the game, he'd have it spread. You'd have to pay him $30, $40 when you left, or you feel embarrassed. Yeah. Most guys get $5, $10 a day. He'd have Evelyn fried chicken and your ribs, stuff like that. And we're playing at Old Colt Stadium one day, and Ken Johnson, he used to pitch for the Reds and pitch for Houston. We lost the game 1-0. 1-0 at Old Colt Stadium. I scored a run in the ninth inning on a Nellie Fox error. Nellie played second for Houston. And we got no-hitted. Ken Johnson pitched a no-hitter and lost the game 1-0. Never happened before again.
I was going to say, that's probably never happened in the history of the game.
I scored a run. Nellie Fox made the error. Well, I walked, then a pass ball, he went to second, then Nellie made an error, and I scored from second. We won the game 1-0. Joe Nuxall pitched for us that day. He pitched a 3-hitter.
The guy hits a no-hitter and loses.
Yeah. Ken Johnson.
That's probably never going to happen ever again.
I don't see how it can. I played in the game in Chicago one day. We scored 9 in the first against the Cubs. When the first inning was over, it was 10-9. They scored 10 in the first. We won the game 19-17.
Holy cow. That was an action-packed game at Wrigley.
I hit the first pitch of a game one time at Shea Stadium. One Shea Stadium was 4. It was a Polo Ground.
Okay.
The Mets started out. And I hit the first pitch of the game. First freaking pitch of the game, I hit a home run. Okay? We won the game 1-0.
Wow.
Every other out was insignificant. Oh, first freaking pitch of the game. Jay Hook was pitching. I hit a home run in the upper deck and Polo Grounds. It was shaped like this. It went as far as the sides. Down the line was like 290. But those are things that happened to me in my baseball career that doesn't happen to anybody.
But you played so long, so it increased.
Yeah, I played 3,500 games. I heard more national anthems than anybody. That's a record that never be duplicated. You didn't understand that?
Oh, yeah.
That don't get a laugh out of you, son of a bitch.
I'm just paying attention. I'm talking
so
yeah.
How much is that? Pay attention to this group here.
How much does it cost?
Huh?
You have one of my favorite records of yours is the most winning games of any professional athlete ever. 1,972.
Yeah.
I mean, for all of the legends and icons that have played pro sports, how does it feel to be
Well, I'll tell you guys second on the list.
history?
I'll tell you guys second on our list. He's about 250 behind me. The young player from Boston named Carl Yastrzemski, who was a pretty damn good player himself. I got 250 more wins than Carl Yastrzemski. But, Ryan, what we're saying when we talk about 972 wins, you're really talking about all the great players that were my teammates that helped me win all those games. You know, I go back to playing with Frank Robinson, one of the top 5 players ever in the history of baseball. You know, to Bench, to Morgan, to Perez, Foster, Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton. I played with all those great players. And when you're playing with great players, you got a good chance of winning games. That's one habit I never did fall out of, wanting to win games. Every major league player, his number one priority should be wins. Not how many hits you got, not how many runs you scored. How many wins did you get? How many World Series did you play? You know, I only played in 6 World Series out of 24 years. I got screwed the other 18 years. What was I doing?
Yeah.
Wasting time.
Yeah.
No, Joe DiMaggio, he didn't play very long, 13, 14 years. He played in 11 World Series, 11 out of 14. That's the type of teammate I want to be. Imagine that, 11 pennants out of 14 years in the big leagues. And sleeps with Burger and Roll at the same time. You know, in 1967, I get a call from the State Department. A guy identifies himself, and he says, "Would you like to go to Vietnam?" 67. I said, "No, not necessarily."
Thank you.
On there.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, if you go, you can meet Joe DiMaggio." I said, "What?" He said, "If you go, you can meet Joe DiMaggio. Sign me up." So I flew to San Francisco, Joe and I, and a guy who played for the Red Sox named Tony Conigliaro, and another guy who worked for the Yankees named Bob Fischel. We flew from San Francisco to Saigon. When we got to Saigon, they broke us up into 2 groups. Joe and I went south. They went north, and we ended up meeting them. When we landed on the aircraft carrier, the Intrepid, which is docked in New York to this day.
Yep.
Okay? You ever land on an aircraft carrier?
No.
They strap you in backwards to begin with, okay? And when you get caterpillar off, it goes like this, and it goes down. You think it's going in the drink, and it's just getting the altitude to get high. And we're in this army camp in South Vietnam. It's so damn hot you can't sleep. I mean, Vietnam is miserable.
Yeah.
And Joe says, "Man, I got to take a shower." I said, "Joe, we're in an army camp in South Vietnam. No showers available." He said, "I got to take a shower. I'm Joe DiMaggio." So the only way you could take a shower is a guy had to get up on a chair. Me. Okay, I'm on this chair. I'm reaching up and I'm pouring this water into this canvas thing. And there's a lever here, and I pulled the lever, and the water comes through. I gave Joe DiMaggio a shower. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Now, the best way to describe Joe DiMaggio is he was a penis with a man inside. I have no idea how that son of a bitch hit in 56 games in a row carrying that damn thing.
Oh, my gosh.
I felt sorry for Merrill Monroe after saw him.
Can you imagine if this, like, now day and age with the social media and cell phones, TMZ breaking story, Pete Rose gives Joe DiMaggio a shower and says he's
Hacking.
Oh,
Man, it took 30 minutes to get rid of his privates.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that going that direction.
No, that was funny. That was unbelievable. I mean, let me explain something about Joe. God rest Joe DiMaggio. And I used to do a lot of things when we got back. Because Joe just liked to be around me. I relaxed him. Because Joe was kind of, I remember one time my agent did a show with Joe. And my agent at the time, it wasn't Ryan Fiterman, it was Warren Green. He knows Warren.
We know Warren.
And he's sitting up at the stage, and Joe wouldn't sign bats. He would not sign a bat. He wouldn't even sign a bat for Mickey.
Huh.
Okay?
Mickey Mantle, not Mickey Mouse.
No, not Mickey Mouse. And this blind kid is in line. He's got a frickin' bat. And Joe sees him. Now, he's pissed that they let this blind kid up the line, and he's got a bat. And all the other people are looking. He's got to sign it.
Yeah, you can't say no to the blind kid.
Say no to the blind kid. And Joe says, give me that fucking bat. He takes the bat. True story. He signs Joe DiMaggio on the bat. He hands it back to the blind kid. He reaches over and goes, see if the kid was blind. Beat up Wilson and give me that goddamn bat back. They short it back. Blind. He won't like that.
What was his deal with not autographing bats?
Later on, I think
he wanted a premium.
He signed 1,000 bats for $6 million.
Oh, geez.
He knew what he was doing.
So he had a strategy. He was trying to control the market before it was cool.
But when I got back from Vietnam, when I do golf tournament stuff with Joe, he was cordial. He was really cordial to the soldiers over there. He made them all feel like they were at home. You know, I got a lot of respect the way he handled those soldiers. Hey, I'm Joe DiMaggio, an old broken down ball player. Really? He just was so humble. You know, he was. And good looking guy. You know, he just carried himself. He carried himself like Joe DiMaggio. That's the best way to describe Joe DiMaggio. Everybody should be like Joe DiMaggio. The way he played, he was clean and just, you know, the old Italian. But he could play too. He could hit. It's hard to hit in 56 games in a row. Believe me, it's hard to hit. I hit in 44 one time. Matter of fact, I had seven 20-game or more hitting streaks. It's hard to get on a roll like that because luck just, when my hitting streak ended, I had 2 ropes that night that were caught. There should have been hits on, both of them should have been hits. Just wasn't meant to be. And then I went on hitting 6, 7 in a row. So if I'd have got lucky in that game 45, I might have challenged Joe's 56 in a row. And I couldn't run like some guys today. I made contact like a lot of guys today, but you got to have some luck. You know, there's 9 guys playing out there, and there's a reason they're out there. And you got to hit them where they ain't for 57 days in a row. I don't think that will ever be broken. I don't think so.
Pete, who is your favorite player growing up as a kid?
Pazuski, the big first baseman for the Reds. Remember, he had the cutout sleeves in his uniform. His arms were so big. He used to make a muscle like that. And he'd go like that. So you know what that is right there. And don't you kid? I said, what is it, big guy? He said, that's a Polish joke stop. Because he was Polak and they always made fun of me. That's a Polish joke stopper right there. His arms are like this. He was a home run hitter. Played first base for the Reds. He ended up being my batting coach when I managed the Reds. Big clue. He was my favorite player. Don't ask me why.
Pete, what are your thoughts on, obviously, you've been suspended from baseball for betting for 30 plus years, right?
89.
So now you go into a baseball stadium, every outfield, every dugout, every commercial.
You can bet at the ballpark.
The signs in the stadium, some ballparks, you can bet at them. I mean,
at the Reds, you can bet at the ballpark.
I mean, how ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, first of all, I screwed that up. I messed that up. I'm not going to sit here and blame the commissioner. At the meantime, I heard this is a country where you get a second opportunity.
You've never been.
Now, if you gamble on baseball, you don't get a second. I could have beat my wife. I could have been a drug addict. I could have been a drunkard.
I heard like 2 weeks ago that the Baltimore Ravens are honoring Ray Rice. Yeah.
Well,
but Pete, they just had to catch a break.
They have a different attitude about gambling, or they thought they did, and now gambling's paying all the bills for baseball. And
so how quick their perspective?
Oh yeah,
changes. How
quick it changed. Absolutely. Yeah, I was wrong. I love my team. I had good players. You know, I had Eric Davises and Paul O'Neills and Kurt Stillwells and Barry Larkins and Sabos, and I had guys like that. And I just believed in them, and I bet on them every night. Bet on them to win. I thought they could win every night, and I always knew I was going to win more games than I was going to lose, but I was still wrong. And I must tell you, when I was betting on the Reds, nobody in the clubhouse knew. No coach knew. No players knew. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And that was my mistake. And, you know, it cost me over $100 million. I could safely say that me betting on baseball cost me over $100 million. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
If I was playing today, I would own Fiterman Sports. I'd buy that son of a bitch out.
Yeah, if you had $100 million, you wouldn't be signing autographs for.
No, I wouldn't be signing autographs. Yeah, I might be. I like the people.
No, you do love the people. And Pete, that's one thing that, you know, we're going on year 16 of being in business, and we do about 400 autograph signings a year, and we work with guys all over the country. And it's like,
Players appreciate that too. Players appreciate it. And me.
the couple things that I've observed while working with you over the past few years. One, I always tell Manuel how we go to what we call the back room of a show. Okay. And we're there with you, sitting down, signing. It never fails. It doesn't matter what show it is, what part of the country it is, what type of players are signing. Every single star, every single celebrity, every single Hall of Famer comes up to you and speaks highly of you and just loves you and adores you. And it's from an outsider's perspective, it's so interesting to see because you are just like a magnet for people. And I mean, it's wonderful to see behind the scenes.
Well,
I know the fans don't get to see it a lot, but we're going on 10, 11 years working together. And it's like every single show, every part of the country, all these guys gravitate to you and want a piece of
well,
it.
It seems like the modern day players understand how I played. People always point me out for the way I played. And I tell them like this. I played the way John Doe should play. Everybody should play the way I played. And if you don't play the way I played, you're cheating the fans. And one thing you can't do as an athlete is cheat your public. I never cheated the public. I busted my ass even if I was sick. I'd go out there and bust my ass and try to win the game. And I think the fans understood that. And I think opposing players understood that. You know, you don't have the records that I have if you weren't dedicated to the game. I was really dedicated and understood and appreciated the opportunity to play the game. It was just a golden opportunity. But there again, I took advantage of it. A lot of guys get the same opportunity I got, but I got all the records.
Well, nowadays you have a lot of guys that have like the load management, right? And they're going to take off some games or take a break here.
Make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Hell, it's easy to play baseball if you're strong every day and you get your rest. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. Did I mess around? Yeah, I messed around.
But they also have a guaranteed contract where you were playing your butt off every single year to fight for your check for next year. These guys have 5, 6, 7 year contract.
When I played for Dave Bristol, who gave way to Sparky, Dave was one of those guys that he checked the rooms every night.
Make sure you're in there.
12:15, he's knocking on the door, see if you're there. And if you're not there, it's going to cost you money. Hey, my first year, I made $7,000 playing big league baseball. I got
your first year of baseball?
Yeah.
1963, your salary was $7,000.
Wow. And I got $5,000 bonus because I won Rookie of the Year.
You probably got more than that in your pocket right now.
Almost.
Wow. But $7,000.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That's what the owners got away with.
I think that's what Ohtani makes an hour now.
I think. Well, God bless him. I'm happy for him.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to begrudge any player that makes a lot of money because obviously, if the owners didn't have it, they wouldn't pay it. They didn't put a gun up to their head. And that just goes to show you the kind of money the owners are making today. God bless them. Football, they're making a lot of money too. You know who's making a lot of money? Basketball players.
Yeah.
They got several guys over 50 million.
But the NFL, I mean, their ratings are like 3 and 4x basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think I saw the stats for like Christmas Day where the NFL games had like 4 times as many viewers as the NBA games.
Yeah, I would think so. NFL does a good job. And they have Thursday night football, Monday night football, Saturday night football, Sunday afternoon football.
Yeah.
All the networks. And football is a good game to watch. You know, and they're making a big deal out of the Final Four for the college guys, too. That's going to be big.
Aren't they changing it to 8?
They should.
I think they are next year.
What's that one team that got screwed this year?
Florida State.
13-0?
Yeah, but didn't they end up losing their bowl game? To Georgia, right?
They got
yeah, but Georgia was number 1 most of the year. Michigan's going to win it all.
Yeah, the championship game's here Monday, so.
Yeah. You're right.
Yes, sir. In Houston.
There's 2 games, isn't there?
No, sir.
Michigan and
Washington.
And they're sleeper. Sleeper.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I liked Alabama because you got me an appearance at Alabama.
Yeah, I was going for Saban. We had a hell of an experience.
Yeah, that was fun.
Coach Saban sends his jet, comes and picks us up, brings us there. That campus was unbelievable. I mean, the facility they have, it's got to be up there with just as good as some NFL facilities.
Oh, yeah, no question.
I mean, they had.
How about the eating area where the players ate?
Oh,
All the
it was unreal. And the nutritionists and the dietitians and those guys were set up for success.
And they all seem to be nice guys, nice kids. You're not an asshole, and you're not going to go to.
Well, I don't think Coach Saban's going to put up with that.
No, he's not. He's not going to put up with that.
Yeah, that was a great trip out there. Coach had us out there the beginning of the season.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Last year, you got me Texas A&M.
Yeah, we did A&M with Jimbo Fisher, and they sent us.
Jimbo's not there no more.
No, he's gone. You remember the helicopter they sent to pick us up? I mean, we were
going backwards.
We were sitting on each other's lap.
Jesus Christ.
And then there was a storm coming that night, and I told him, I said, all due respect, the helicopter was amazing, but we are not flying home in the dark, in a lightning storm, in the helicopter. And
that was a good facility, too.
We did Oregon baseball.
Yeah.
They sent a huge plane for
Oregon
you.
coach texts me all the time, trying to get my grandson to go to college there.
Oh, wow.
He's at a junior college down outside of Jacksonville right now, tearing it up, hitting the shit out of the ball. And he can hit, though. He can hit. Heat to third. You'll read about him someday.
And so Oregon is that coach is trying to get him?
Yeah.
That's awesome. They have an unbelievable facility between.
They're a top 10 team every year, too. I just want him to go somewhere where he can get drafted and start pursuing his grandpa's record. That's all you want.
Yes, sir.
And my other grandson, Tyler's boy, Juju, he's 8. And he's the best player in his league. That little bastard can hit.
Well, he's got good genes.
Oh, he can hit. All he wants to do is hit. He got bad. He cried for 2 days after the season ended last year.
He just wanted to keep playing.
Yeah, he wanted to keep playing.
He's already got that drive.
My boy takes him every day to the batter's cage. Every freaking day he goes to the cage. I spent a lot of time with him in Christmas time. Because, they live in Vegas and I live in Vegas. So every time I go out with my 2 grandkids, I got to give them each $200.
Jeez.
They're breaking me to take them to eat.
So a 2-part question, Pete. And I know the first story in reference to where you got the work ethic to play so hard.
I did.
Correct. Can you tell the audience the story of your dad was at the game and he switched all the seats and then he met you outside the ballpark?
Yeah, my dad used to go every night. He worked at the bank, Fifth Third Bank, and he went to every game. First thing I did when I got to the ballpark, I put Pete Rose Sr. 4 tickets. And if he came, he came. If he didn't, no big deal. And he'd sit in one seat, and if I made an out, he'd move to another seat. And if I made an out, he'd move to another seat. So he liked it when I went 3 for 4 or 4 for 4. He got to sit in the same seat. Yeah. So this one particular night, he never stayed after the game. He had to get back home because he had to get up and leave for work at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's standing out by my car. Now, right away, when I see my dad standing at my car in the players' parking lot, oh my God, my mom's sick. So I looked at him, I said, Dad, what's the matter? He said, let me ask you a question, son. I said, I'm waiting for him to say, Mom, he had a heart attack or something. He says, let me ask you a question. He said, that third time up tonight, when you hit that ground ball to second, did you run hard to first? And I thought back and I missed the pitch. I should have hit it. And I loafed to first base. I didn't run hard to first. I said, no, I didn't. He said, well, let me tell you something. He said, don't embarrass me in this town like that. I taught you when you hit the ball, you run your ass off until umpire says out or safe. I'll see you tomorrow. And he was right. I didn't hustle that particular time. That's a particular time he was watching me. That's the kind of father I had. He told my Little League coaches, you'll never miss a practice. You'll never miss a game. You know how a lot of moms and dads take their kid out of Little League during the summer to go on vacation. I never went on vacation as a kid, ever. our family never went on a vacation because I had to play the baseball season. I had to play in every game of the baseball season. And he told my coach, he will never miss a practice. He'll never miss a game. But when there's a right-hander pitching, I want him to bat left-handed, and vice versa when there's a left-handed pitcher. I want him to be a switch batter, not a switch hitter, a switch batter. Okay? He didn't want me to be a switch hitter. He wanted me to switch
So when you're under that type of scrutiny and your dad has that type of work ethic, I mean, it's instilled in you to just bust your ass all the time. And
well, another thing about me too, Ryan, all through my little league career, I was always the littlest guy. I grew, when I signed with the Reds, I weighed 158 pounds. 2 years later, I weighed 202. I grew late. I didn't graduate from high school. I was 19, but I grew late. I started growing when I was 20 and 21 years old. And my dad did the same thing. So he knew I was going to grow. And he told the scout who signed me, which was my uncle, my mom's brother was the scout that signed me. He talked the Reds into signing me. He talked them in that I would grow, I would be a bigger kid. And I ended up being a bigger kid.
So your uncle is the one who scouted you?
It's the one that signed me. Buddy Blowbaum. It's my mom's brother. He was a hell of a player.
I mean, think about that in itself as an opportunity. It's like, what if your uncle wasn't a scout?
I never got a chance to play.
And the game wouldn't have had one of the greatest players ever.
He had to talk to Reds into signing me. That's why when he signed me, I got a $7,000 bonus. And even at that date, they put another $5,000 in if I made the big leagues for 30 days. Give me something to work for. They always give me things to work for because they knew I'd work for them. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So, I made $12,000 my first year, extra money. So I really made $19,000 my first year. Probably shit. I was buying alpaca sweaters and all that kind of stuff. Wow. Hanging with the big boys. Unbelievable. I hung around with the two guys that treated me like a king on that team were both black. One was Frank Robinson and the other was Veda Pinson. The other guys wouldn't associate with me. I was a brash young kid. I'd go out to eat all the time on the road with Frank and Veda. And matter of fact, one time, forgot what year it was, I was called in the Reds office for hanging with the black players too much. I said, what? You got to quit hanging with these black players. I said, what are you talking about? They're my teammates. I'm not going to quit hanging with Frank and Veda. They treat me like a human being. I mean, would that happen today? They get on my ass for hanging around with the black players? They close them down.
Yeah.
But Frank really showed me the ropes. I mean, Frank was Rookie of the Year too. And, he's a top 5 player in the history of baseball. Won the Triple Crown with Baltimore. Year after we traded him. Reds traded him because they said he was old. Went over to the American League, won the Triple Crown.
Right.
How do you win a Triple Crown? He could hit, boy. That guy could hit. He taught you how to play hard because, to my recollection, no one broke up a double play better than Frank Robinson. Second baseman and shortstop hated to make a double play when Frank was on first. He slid hard and he'd knock you on your ass. He'd help you up, but he'd knock you on your ass. That's the type of player you want to be around. And I got to hit right in front of those two guys. I only hit 273 in my first year, but I scored 100 runs because of Frank. Johnny Bench had 1,000 RBIs because of me. Bill Morgan had over 1,000 RBIs because of me. Tony Perez had over 1,000 RBIs because of me. Because every time they come up to bat, they look down at second or third, you're already there. And I'm standing down there.
Yeah.
How would you like to hit in a lineup, Manuel, where you got Joe Morgan and Pete Rose hitting in front of you? No, you'd have 75 RBIs with just sacrifice the guys. That's the truth. But they took advantage of it. You can have a lot of advantages as a professional athlete, but you got to take advantage of that opportunity. I took advantage of I never hit below third in my life. 3,500 games, I never hit below third.
Wow.
Mostly first, mostly second, third. One year, Dave Bristol hit me third batting right-handed against left-handers. Other than that, every one of my bats were left-handed.
I remember we were doing a show once, and Craig Biggio had just got, the 3,000?
3,000.
Yeah. And you walked up to him, and you put your arm around him, and you said, Craig, Congratulations on 3,000, buddy. By the way, I did that left-handed. And you just saw his whole demeanor change. I was like, holy
I did. I get 1,200 some right-handed. But you bat 2/3 of the time from the left side. If I ask you right now, everybody raise their hand. If you're left-handed, no one raise their hand. We're all right-handed. That's the way society is.
I remember, Pete, we were doing a signing once and looked down and your phone's ringing. It says Reggie Jackson. He said, oh, I love this guy. He answered the phone.
I love Reggie.
And Reggie goes, Pete, put it on speakerphone. He goes, Pete, I was just calling to remind you that I'm Mr. October.
I know what I said.
What'd you tell him?
Reg, that's good. But I was Mr. April, May, June, July, August, and September. I love Reggie. I love Reggie Jackson.
That was one of my favorite Pete Rose stories ever. He's like, you can have October. I'm every other month of the season.
Yeah. He hit the hardest ball I've ever seen in my life in 1971 All-Star game. It's the only one we lost, by the way, out of 16. And I was in the on-deck circle when the game ended. I didn't get to play in that game. But Reggie hit that down and in sinker off of Doc Ellis at Detroit Tiger Stadium. Hit the transformer on top of the stadium on the way up. I never seen a ball hit like that.
That was a big stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Tigers?
Yeah. He hit the transformer on top of the stadium.
Yeah. One of the things we do a few times a year is speak to Little League teams and Little League organizations. For the viewers that are watching this, whether they have kids coming up playing baseball, daughters playing softball, what's your advice for the young kids now growing up and playing any sport for that matter? Sophia's heavily involved in basketball and succeeding every year.
Well,
so let's try in soccer and tennis. Like, what do you?
Here's a couple of philosophies I have on that. Not that your 12 or 13-year-olds are going to make a lifelong decision, but if you're an athlete, try to figure out as early as you can what you can do and what you can't do. And just go out and do the things you can do on a consistent basis. If you're a hitter, go hit. If you're a fielder, go field. If you're a pitcher, go. If you're a shooter, go shoot. Okay? If you're a defensive tackle, block. Make tackles. Do things like that. Don't stay in your own element because everybody in the world has things they can do. And too many people have things that they can't do and they try to do. And you're going to fail. It's hard enough to succeed at anything. But work on your shortcomings. Know what you can do, but work on your shortcomings. If you're going to be an athlete, try to be a two-sport athlete. Try to be a defensive player and an offensive player. In other words, when I had a glove on, I didn't worry about hitting. When I was in the batter's box, I didn't worry about fielding. I only worried about fielding when I was in the field. I worried about hitting when I was in the batter's box. Okay? And that's what you got to do and don't let anybody tell you can't do something. I heard my whole life, you're too small. You won't be able to do nothing. Okay, we'll see. I didn't say that, but I had that kind of attitude. And that's because I had a father to push me. My father pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And we would always have the best conversations on the way home after the game because he would always replay the game with me. And if I made mistakes, he would tell me why not to make those mistakes the next time. Okay, because errors are part of the game. But mental errors, physical errors are part of the game. Mental errors are not part of the game. Thrown to the wrong base, things like that are not part of the game. Okay? Making an error when bases are loaded, it's part of the game. You're going to make some errors. You hope you don't, but you're going to. And always think positive. Always be a positive person. And don't forget, baseball is the roughest game. I made 9,800 outs. Okay? I almost made 10,000 outs. So baseball, your goal is to make the Hall of Fame. You don't make the Hall of Fame if you don't have a 300 batting average. If you have a 300 batting average, that means you made 7 out of 10 outs. It's a failing game. Baseball, unlike the other sports, are a failing game. If Michael Jordan shot 3 out of 10, we wouldn't be buying Michael Jordan shoes. Okay? If Aaron Rodgers completed 3 out of 10, we wouldn't be buying his football. But in baseball, you can succeed and be a Hall of Famer, just get 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. Doesn't seem that hard, does it? But it can get hard when you're facing all those good pitchers. Think about that. I mean, we're doing a podcast, and I made almost 10,000 outs.
What was the toughest pitcher you faced?
We had one road trip, Manuel, where we would play. Listen to this road trip. We're playing in Cincinnati on Sunday afternoon. Game's over. We get on the bus, take it to the airport, get on the plane, fly to L.A. Next 3 days, we got Koufax, Drysdale, and Sutton. That's 3 Hall of Famers. Then we get on the plane, go to San Francisco. Then we got Gaylord Perry and Marichal and somebody else.
Hall of Fame.
Then we stop in St. Louis on the way home. Then we got Carlton and Gibson and someone else. So we played 9 games, and we had 7 Hall of Fame pitchers we faced. That's a rough-ass road trip. But that's what the schedule said. That's what you had to play.
Who's the toughest pitcher ever?
Koufax. I couldn't hit Koufax with that banner right there. I got 10 for 57 off Koufax. Don't do your math. That's 175. If you don't hit your weight off of somebody, you're a horseshit hitter.
I'd be a great hitter.
Oh man, you'd be a batting champion.
Oh my God,
man, we run second to you.
Yeah, if we had to.
What are you skinny guys laughing about over there?
If we hit our weight, me and I'd be paid. We'd be up there with Ohtani.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's when I think back of all the great pitchers I faced, and you ever heard of Warren Spahn?
Yes, sir.
I got 17 for 32 off of him. I hit like 400 off of Don Sutton. I hit like 370 off of Juan Marichal, who was really a good pitcher. Really a good pitcher. Gaylord Perry, a son of a bitch spit on the ball every time he threw it. I hit a ball one time off of Gaylord Perry. I went like that and hit it, and the spit flew off the bat. It was on the ball. But he got away with it. Yeah, he'd do all this decoy and shit. He'd already had it behind his ear or something. I never find out where he had it at, though. He was a good pitcher, though.
Pete, you've probably been signing autographs longer than we've been born. What are your thought? What's your thought on the industry? What has signing autographs done for you post baseball?
Well, one thing signing autographs does for me, Ryan, is it gets me among the public. I like fans.
Yeah, you enjoy.
I like fans. I was a fan player. I was one guy that always appreciated a full house. You know, you go to a stadium. That's why I always like to go to Dodger Stadium. Every freaking game. After the 5th inning, they put up 50,000 and 400. Every game, 50,000 and 400. Then you go up to San Francisco, you'd have 5,000 and 300. Same state.
Yeah.
One did a good job, one didn't do a good job. I thought it was terrible to be a baseball player and go to play a game, and you look at the stands, it'd be a great night to paint the seats.
It's empty.
That means there's no asses in it. Seats are for asses.
Yeah.
And owners got to understand that. The more asses you put in the seats, the more money you make.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have a good team. People don't want to see a losing team. You know, if I'm in a city, I want my team to be a winner, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, or hockey or anything. I don't want to be a losing city. The Big Red Machine, we entertain the people of Cincinnati. You know, we used to do almost 2 million every year, and there's only 500,000 people in that town. Think about that. Everybody went to the game at least once that year.
Yeah.
But we entertained them because we had good players. In my career, I played with the greatest catcher ever, Johnny Bench. I played with the greatest second baseman ever, Joe Morgan. I played with the greatest third baseman ever, Mike Schmidt. And I played with the only Cuban ever to make the Hall of Fame, Tony Perez. And I also played with Frank Robinson. Now, when you're playing with players like that, it's fun to go to the ballpark because they all have the same attitude. Win, win, win. Not lose, lose, lose. Some teams I couldn't play on because the whole organization has a losing attitude. Losing or winning is an attitude. It's how you think. It's how you're brought up. I was brought up to win, not to lose. My dad hated losing. And I got that from watching him. I used to be the water boy on his football team, the ball boy on his basketball, the bat boy on his softball team. I was always at the ballpark because my dad was an athlete. And it's fun for me as a kid. It's going to be fun as a big leaguer, as an adult. I took my kid to every game when I played for the Reds. I took him to every game when I was with Philadelphia. He ended up making the big leagues, but, he didn't stay, but he made it. Not everybody can say they made the big leagues. Only 13 or 14,000 people in the history of this world have made the big leagues.
So, Pete, every single teammate you just mentioned is a Hall of Famer. The manager was a Hall of Famer. You're one of the greatest and one of the top baseball players of all time. What does the Hall of Fame mean to you, or what does it not mean to you?
Well, the Hall of Fame is a reward for what you did. And Ryan, I wish I could answer that, but I won't know what that means to me until they say Pete Rose Hall of Fame. Because I don't think anybody that makes the Hall of Fame has any idea what he's going to say until he gets up in front of those people. I know what kind of player I was. I got Hall of Fame statistics. Everybody knows that. So I wasn't a bad guy. I mean, I bet on baseball, but that's the only bad thing I ever did for baseball. Other than that, all I tried to do was sell baseball. Whenever I played, I tried to sell baseball to whatever city I was playing in. But you understand what I mean about this.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you can't. It's just like when I do autographs. I want everybody to be happy. I don't believe that everybody gets, if they want to sign signature, they get one. Some guys, they'll go 2 hours and say, I got to go. Where you got to go? There's people standing there. I have never got up and left the stage when there was someone in line to get an autograph. And I never will. Because they went out of their way to come here, to park, pay to get in, stand in line to get an autograph. So sit there and shut up and sign the autograph. They ask you a question, answer it to the best of your ability.
I mean, what was your last season? 89?
No, 86 as a player.
Okay. So
89 as a manager.
Okay. But that's so from 1989 to 2024 now, I think that's why you have a fan base that's so, I mean, we have kids that are 5 years old that say, I play like you. We have fans that are 95 years old that are coming to get it. And
But one thing about that, Ryan, most of my really great fans, they're getting up there and old. They're getting old. They're ready for the graveyard.
What I'm trying to say is because of the way you treat your fans and because you've been such an advocate.
No, you've never read about me being drunk or being belligerent or getting in a fight or beating up my wife.
Yeah.
You read about me gambling.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I ever did. And now baseball really tolerates gambling because it pays.
Well, they're in bed with them and they're making a lot of money from it. So
they are making it. God bless them. God bless them. What took them so long?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my answer to that. And Mr. Manfred does a good job. I mean, I like baseball the way I don't like some of the rule changes. Nobody's in a hurry that goes to the ballpark. The only people who didn't like the rule changes are the people who sell beers because the games are taking 20 minutes.
Cut short.
Huh?
Because the time's cut short now.
Yeah, they're playing games faster. And if you drink 4 or 5 beers a game, now you're drinking 2 or 3 beers a game. And concessionaires don't like that.
Do you like, speaking of rule changes, do you like the pitch clock?
Yeah, it's sped up the game. I'm tired of guys stepping out and readjusting their glove every pitch.
Omar wouldn't make it nowadays.
No.
But these guys get these routines and
I don't know what's that all.
Velcro the gloves 3 and 4 times and spit and tug their jersey.
But one thing, Ryan, let me tell you something about that. One thing about that situation we're talking about right there. If Bob Gibson was pitching, they'd never do that. Because he'd knock them right on their ass. He'd say, get in that goddamn batter's box. I'm tired of waiting for you. Nobody stepped out on Bob Gibson. Because he'd retaliate. Guys today,
he wasn't messing around.
No, he wasn't messing around. I've seen him look at guys and say, get in the box. Let's go. What are you doing? Wow. And he'd beat your ass if you say this. You'd have to charge him out.
Do you think the pitch clock would have affected your game at all as a hitter?
No,
you just got up there and did your business and
talk to the umpire sometimes. I remember first game I played, Jocko Conlon, little umpire who wore a bow tie. That was Jocko's. He wore a bow tie. And first pitch, I'm batting like this, and I heard Jocko say, "What are you looking at, you rookie son of a bitch? I don't need no help." I didn't even know he was back there.
He's so little?
Yeah, but I'm watching the ball. I'm not watching the umpire.
I understood.
That's why I hit. I watched, because the ball can do a lot of things from here to hear.
Every minute.
That's when you have to worry about it, not when it's out there where those guys are. I can't hit it then.
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, "What are you looking at, you rookie bastard?" I said, "Sir, I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking at the ball." And me and Jocko become friends. And I remember another time, Shag Crawford's umpire, and Manny Sanguine is catching for Pittsburgh. And I woke up to bat the second time up, and Shag says, he said, "Kid," he said, "just swing the bat." I said, "What do you mean swing the bat?" He said, "I don't give a shit if they roll it up there. I'm calling strike." I said, "What's the problem?" It's a Sanguine. He's farting, he's shitting, he's belching, and it's all staying at home plate. He was dying back there. Sanguine.
He wanted to call it
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Sanguine sitting back there going, he was farting at home plate. I think he shit his pants.
The umpire wanted to get out.
He wanted to get out of there. By the time the game was over, he was 10 feet behind the catcher calling balls and strikes.
It was in the Diamond Club level.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Sanguine was funny, boy. He was funny. Oh, man. Them umpires were good guys. I got on good with the umpires. You could have your disagreements with them. Just don't curse. Don't curse them. They'll kick you right out if you curse. Because most of them, some of them had hair triggers. Bruce Fromming, Lee Wire had the biggest strike zone I've ever seen. But he knew it. You knew it going in. See, that's another advantage of playing in the big leagues today. The umpires. When the umpires used to come out from behind home plate to start the game, there was always 4 of them. And one of them had a mask. That's a home plate umpire. Now, I knew what kind of game it was going to be just because of who was behind home plate. Does he call a lot of strikes? Does he call a lot of balls? Some guys are strike callers. Some guys are ball callers. Like Dutch Renner, this goddamn strike zone was about that big. He wouldn't call a strike.
So as a player and as a manager, you would kind of learn your managers and learn who's going to.
That's an advantage. It's just like learning the pitchers. You got to learn the umpires too.
It's funny when you say that. So I used to have a job with the Houston Rockets, and I had an office in the locker room. So, you use the restroom, you use the same restroom as the players. Well, you're going number 2 and you sit down and you close the door. They had pictures in all the stalls of all the refs for that season, right? So like the players can put a name with a face and study the refs, for lack of a better term. So it's funny that you say that you guys really, Bob's got a big strike zone. Alan so-and-so.
Pitchers do that too. Pitchers do that too.
They study the umps.
Yeah. It's just like the guys that go up and swing at the first pitch. If you know the guy pitching has a history of walking 4 or 5 guys in the game, why are you going to swing at the first pitch? Chances are it's going to be a ball. He's going to get behind you and have to come in 3-0, 2-0, 3-1. It's easier to hit on those deals than it is 0-2 and 1-2. So that's all the psyche of playing baseball. That's why I don't think too many guys today do their homework. I could probably have a jam session with players today and ask them, "What's this umpire do? What's this umpire do?" They don't know. They don't know. They don't care to find out what they do.
But that's all. I think
it's all part of the game.
But the mentality that you have, even the passion you have now, years after playing, it's like, I think that's one of the reasons why you are one of the greatest ever. And you have the most wins, and you have the most hits, and you have 20-something records. It's like everyone's mentality is different. Nowadays, it's like there might be guys that are great at baseball, but they're getting to the league just to get the check.
Yeah.
They don't care if they win a World Series or not. You're pissed off when you go to the World Series and lose.
Yeah.
You're mad you lost what? 1 All-Star game out of the 7. Like, you're mad about this stuff. Some of these guys don't care.
We always thought, I'm talking about Aaron, Mays, Clemente, people like that. That's who I always made the All-Star games with. We always thought the National League was better than the American League. And there was statistics behind that. And the reason we were a better league, I'll tell you one reason, and the only reason, black players. We had more black players in the National League. Because what does black players create? Speed. We had more speed in the National League than they did in the American League because we had so many guys that could run. Yeah. And most of the guys that can run are black players. Mays could run. Aaron could run. Clemente could run. Tommy Davis could run, or Willie Davis could run. I mean, all the guys, the only guy who couldn't run that was a great player was Stan Musial, but he could hit. You know, he got 3,630 hits. I remember when I was on a hitting streak, Tommy Holmes had the record, and he played for the Mets. And I broke his record playing in New York at Shea Stadium. I'll never forget it. And he worked for the Mets. And he come out of the stands, and he come to first base and shook my hand when I broke his record. Just during the game, okay? And he shook my hand. You know what he said to me? Thanks for making me famous again.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was cool.
That was nice of him.
Because they brought his name up because I broke his record. Thanks for making me famous again. That was nice.
That is nice.
Stan Musial come out when I broke his record. Had his white shoes on, nice suit, nice coat. I broke his record in Philadelphia. And he just come out and says, you did it. You did it, pal. Congratulations. Call me pal.
That's cool.
You did it, pal.
I feel like baseball's still a game of class. Like, you know, the guys, the younger generation.
Yeah. So Musial was class. He was class. I remember talking to him when I was a kid, and I remember talking to him when I broke his record. Most of the great players got class. Willie Mays, he was the best. Hank Aaron, I got along with Hank as good as anybody. Clemente, I got along with him, but I couldn't understand him. He couldn't speak English. I went down to the last at-bat one time against him for the batting title. The only way I could lose the batting title if I went 0 for 4 and he went 4 for 4. Well, I'm 0 for 3 and he's 3 for 3. I'm playing at home, he's playing in Pittsburgh. And the fourth time up, I got a hit, and then he made a out, and I won my first batting title.
Wow.
And then next year, I'm batting my batting title for another Pittsburgh player named Matty Alou. And it's the Saturday before the last game of the season. And I'm playing in Cincinnati against Gaylord Perry. He's playing in Chicago against Fergie Jenkins. Now, this is two of us battling for a batting title, okay? I went 5 for 5. He went 4 for 4. We went 9 for 9. And I got hit the next day, 1 for 4, and he went 0 for 4, and I won my second batting title.
Wow.
But those were things that you negotiate your contract with, batting titles. There's only one of those a year in each league. That's a tough thing to do. I only got 3 batting titles. I finished second a couple years. Now, if they had paid me to hit 300, I did that like 16, 17, 18 times. You're aware of what's going on when you're a player, especially when it comes time for a contract.
Don't you have a great Willie Mays story at the one of the All-Star galas?
Yeah, but I kind of had to stand up to do this story. You know, we're that 71 All-Star game we're talking about. We're out the night before at, I think, a Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Detroit, and Willie's at the next table. And, of course, we're teammates, so we're talking. Willie says, I'll be right back. I got to go to the restroom. So about 5 minutes later, Willie comes back, and I don't know if you can hear me, and Willie comes back, and he's got water over both sides of his pants. I look at him and say, Willie, what the hell is going on? I could talk just like Willie. He said, man, you ain't going to believe this. He said, I was in there taking a pee, and the guy said, it's you, Willie Mays. So nothing about me. Imagine that. That's a true story. I don't know how big the guy's penis was next to him.
But somebody peed like Willie Mays.
Man, that guy peed on me.
Oh, my God.
Don't you hear Willie tell that story? I mean, Willie's 92 now. Someone told me he's not doing well. Well, most people 92 aren't doing well.
Yeah, but still, 92, that's a good run.
Yeah.
I'd sign up for it.
Yeah. I'll beat you to it.
Yes, sir. Well, Pete, this is awesome as usual. It's great hanging out.
That's it?
You got more for us?
I got more stories.
Oh, well, let's go. Buckle up, guys. Round 2.
I ain't never missed my